Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to the cryptocurrency 30-day challenge, day minus T9. Yeah, I guess that's how it's said. T minus 9 days and counting. So we're getting ready on this challenge, and I want to go over a couple of things with you, some of the basics of this stuff so you can get started playing with things before we actually get down to launch day. T minus 9 days, launch day. Yeah, sounds so NASA. So we are going to be doing this challenge here. And if you are just joining us for the first time, go back to the beginning of this playlist and start there if this intrigues your interest at all and you want to join us. So I encourage that. And if you're watching this after the fact, you know, like we've already completed the challenge and you're watching this on video or whatnot, fear not, you too can join us. You know, go through all these videos in the beginning, and then on day one, just go through one a day and track your progress along with us. So that's what I encourage you to do. Okay, now, we are going to talk about Coinbase and about GDAX a little bit today. And I'm just going to kind of give you an overview. Coinbase is what I am using. It's what I recommend you use. But if Coinbase is not available in your region, you can use another service. You may have to go find one. There are also other trading services, and I'm going to be showing you GDAX here. There are also other trading services like BitMEX and such, which are for other regions, or a lot of these have sought to get government control, meaning, or government okay. And so they have government oversight. And so companies like Coinbase here operate in a whole bunch of countries, but they have some specific laws for specific regions. And then, you know, like BitMEX, I tried to sign up for them. They're another exchange. And it said it wasn't available in my region. And it's mostly European. So, but GDAX and Coinbase appear to be most widely accepted. And so that's why I'm recommending this. Now, one thing, okay, everybody in this challenge, if you're participating along, you need to put in $10, or not $10, $100 of currency, whether it's 100 euros or 100 US dollars or whatever. And the reason for the $100 amount is to make it a nice round number that's easy to track, but also you want to keep this low. You'd be like, I'm going to crush this. I'm not going to put in $100. I'm going to put in $1,000. Don't be a dumbass. Yeah, I mean, come on. So the reason that we're doing this with the $100 is because it really has low risk, but it's enough money that we can do trades with it. And if we can prove that we can actually do this and make a profit, then put in more money. But let us go through the process. You know, it's only 30 days, and I thought I heard something, like an electronic blowing up or something, but I don't think it is. Okay, so it's only 30 days, and if at the end of this you've made money, then you can decide whether or not you want to put in more money. So, also I want to preface, I am not a financial expert. I am an average guy. I'm an average entrepreneur. Deals with money, deals with profit all the time. And this is a new place that we're going. So join us and let's see if we can make some money. I think we can. So, okay, let's look at Coinbase here. Now, Coinbase, I'm not going to show you everything in it because I don't want to show you my bank account numbers and some of my other personal information. Makes sense, huh? Yeah. So, in Coinbase, if you sign up for an account, use the link in the description, and you will get a bonus. They will give you $10 worth of Bitcoin, and they give me $10 worth of Bitcoin for having referred you. That's how it works. Now, you don't have to do that. You can get your money in however you want. You can create your account however you want. It's just that that is there, and so I'm taking advantage of it. As I told you, I'm an entrepreneur. So, okay. Now, what you want to end up with is $100 or 100 euros or whatever in your portfolio. And you are going to end up, it's going to take you a little bit of time to get that in there. One is you're going to need to either use it, fund it via credit card or wire transfer or an ACH bank withdrawal. All of them charge you money. They all have charges anywhere from 3% to 4%. There might be other charges in there as well. I have not done all the methods. I have done the credit card method and I have done the bank method. And both of those charge you. Now the bank method, you save 1%. On $100, it's a whole buck. You save 1%. And is that worth it? No. In my opinion, it's not. Not in this case, because it takes 7 to 11 days to get the transfer done. And I kid you not, while I was filming the last video is when my transfer got done on my other one. It took 9 days. So don't use that method unless you have to. And so the credit card one is almost instant. But again, there's a caveat, which is both of my credit card companies that I have, both of them said no. And I get it. You know, cryptocurrency is a real easy way to launder money. It's a real easy way for criminals to steal money, to transfer it into something else, send it on through, and you know, launder money real easy. So they are very, very skeptical of this. Now, what we did was we called the bank and said, hey, we really are trying to make this purchase. And they said, oh, okay, that's all we needed to know. And they enabled it. So it was pretty simple, but we did have to talk to the bank. Now, once you've got your $100 in here, what do you do with it? Well, you can instantly buy some Bitcoin or some Ethereum or some Litecoin with it if you want to. But I recommend transferring the raw currency into GDAX. So GDAX, which is also linked in the description, is this service right here. And this is my live account. Now, when we go through this test, I will be changing. I'm gonna cash everything out in here that I've got transacting right now. I'm gonna send everything but $100 back over to my Coinbase account. By the way, Coinbase and GDAX, they're both operated by the same company, so they have really great trust with one another, and the transfers are instant. We'll get more into transfers later if you're transferring Bitcoin from one place to another, or you're transferring it into other currencies. Within GDAX, it's really simple and it works really easy. But when you get out of this ecosystem, there's time taken and it gets real scary, and we will talk about that in a future video. Okay, so now there are 3 different cryptocurrencies that are traded here on GDAX. And we've got Bitcoin, we've got Ether, and we've got Litecoin. And it's traded in US dollars and in euros. So that's going to cover 85% or so of those of us who are participating in this. If your country is not supported, whatnot, you're going to have to find another service that is supported for your country and where you can do something similar. There are a lot of services out there that cost money for every transaction, including GDAX, unless you know the secrets of how to keep it for free. I'm going to teach you that. It's actually not that much of a secret. It actually makes sense. But there's a lot of people who get in here and start spending that money, not realizing they're incurring charges. So I'm going to keep you from coming across those charges unless you intentionally want to do it, which there are some reasons why you would. So now we're at Bitcoin right here, and I've got a view that's 1 day. So the default view, actually let me change it to the default view. This is the default view, 5 minutes. And in this default view, each one of these is called a candle. Now, if I get terminology wrong, and all of you highfalutin, well-educated stock traders out there that use your big words that intimidate all of us, bear with us and join us anyway and show us how to do your tricks. Yes, so What I mean by that is that I have intentionally not gone and sought out some sort of formal education on stock trading, and this is very much reminiscent of stock trading. A lot of the stock trading applications look like this. In fact, I'm going to be giving you in some future episodes even more links to stuff that is actual stock applications that happen to also track cryptocurrency. They have extra tools in them for seeing things in different ways. It's going to be really great. Now, like I said, I've intentionally not learned these proper ways of doing this. And my hope is that by not doing these, by not getting that book smarts on this portion, is that I have to figure everything out for myself, and I have to do it. And so I have to learn all of this stuff. I want the street smarts end of it. And what I hope to come out with is a different view on this that is other than what is viewed on the generally accepted stock trading market and maybe even in the cryptocurrency trading market. I want to be different, and that is intentional, because it takes being different in many cases to have a breakout moment. Those breakouts are what make you a ton of money. They are also what lose you a ton of money. So I am playing more risk. Now, if you personally want to invest a lot of time and energy into learning proper stock trading methods and everything, and terminology and everything, I'm not going to stop you at all. In fact, that will be the right way to do it for some people. For me, it's not. I will get there. I will learn that stuff, but I want to figure all this stuff out on my own first to see if I can think about it a different way that nobody else is. Okay, so now this is Bitcoin right here. I am trading a lot in Ether. Let me bring up Ether. And so here I am trading in Ether, and I'm going to go over a lot of my methods that I've been using, and I've been using successfully. And I've been doing what I'd call penny purchases or whatever. And so I've been able to make money because you can get into this market at a pretty low price. Now, for $100, I'll show you something here. There is a limitation. So on buying in Bitcoin, the lowest amount you can buy, oops, let's see here. Let's change that to limit. The lowest amount you can buy is 1%, and that is represented as 0.01. And so 1% of $4,814, which is what it is right now, is $48.14. So I would have to spend $48.14 to get this 1%. And 1% is a magic number within GDAX of the minimum trade amount that you can do in a transaction. So this is not transactions like if you were buying something from someone and it only costs $10, you don't have to send them $48. It doesn't work that way. It's just for the trading platform here that has that limitation. So if I have $100 in here and I buy twice in here, I'm out of money. I can't buy anymore because I just don't have the money to do it. Now, I may want to work in the Bitcoin market because the Bitcoin market is different than Ethereum and different than Litecoin. They're all three different, and they all three have different reactions for different reasons. Now, excuse me, Bitcoin right now is having a real breakout moment. The highest ever is around $5,000. And to me, it looks like it's going to break that shortly. Like it could even happen today. But I think within the next week or so, it's going to go above 5,000. So with that belief, if I were to buy right now my $48.14 worth, which would be a buy order put in, and it's actually gone up. It's another $3 up, so just since we've been talking about this. If I put in the buy order like this, it has to come back down to that price, and then the purchase will happen. If I do it instant, then I get charged it's a 1/3 of 1% or less. So it depends on the currency, it depends on the coin type, and it depends on how many of these buys you do. So it can get down much lower. So people who all they do is buy right then and sell right then and take that, percentage loss because they're making more. But if you were to look at this and say, okay, what's a quarter of this or whatnot? So if 1% is $48 and it's a third of that, do the math here. You're looking at like $16, $17 of a charge if you're buying a full Bitcoin. So in this case, it'd be 17 cents or whatever. So it's really, really small, but those add up. And so if you're patient, what you can do is you could put in a buy order for that amount, and you can see here that the stuff goes up and down. So each one of these are called a candle. These are the wicks. The wicks indication of velocity and retraction. And so you guys can feel free to correct me on anything here in the comments on YouTube if I get anything wrong. I'm okay with that. So this is what I've learned so far and what I think. And it doesn't matter if I'm getting some of the terminology incorrect because I'm making money. And I've got proof of that already. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this challenge and sharing this with all of you. Because one, I know I can do it. And two, I know that you can do it too, and you are going to do this a little bit differently than I do. You may copy me exactly, or you may have other ways of doing this. And I want you to share those with me, and maybe around the end of this, we'll have realized the optimal way of making money with this and how we're going to do so well with it. Holy cow, look at that. It's up another 10 bucks. So if I had $4,814, I could have made a purchase, when we first got onto this screen, and I could sell right now, and I'd have an extra 10 bucks in my pocket. I can go out and buy a sandwich. A nice one. I can get a drink and fries with that too. So anyway, okay, so these candles right here, the green is going up, the orange is going down. And the wicks here, as they're called, means that when it got into this this 5-minute period, I'm on a 5-minute scale right now, that it started out, so it starts out at the top or the bottom of the other one here, depending on whether it's going up or down. And so it started out right here, and then it went down. And it went down all the way down to here, but then it started raising back up again, and it got up to this point right here before it went to the next 5-minute block. That created the wick. So it's the whole candlestick went all the way down, and if it had gone over right here, then this next one would have started down here, and there would be no wick there. So that is an indication of actually the next block of which way the velocity is likely to be. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's just an observation that in many cases, that's where it goes. But see here, this is against the rule right here. So anyway, so that is what causes that. Now, these lines down here, this is the number of transactions happening in this block period. And so like right here, there's a lot. In fact, this is the most since, this is like a 4.5 hour, 5 hour scale right here. And so there is a lot of activity that's happened right here. Now, the other things here, let's look over here. So if I were to place a buy order, those are green. And if I was going to buy some Bitcoin, and those are green. In fact, let me switch over to Ether here, and I'm going to make a purchase while we're talking here, and let you see how this works. So I'm going to use. So if you use the market stuff right here, this is going to charge you. It happens instantly. On the limit stuff, I'm going to buy. I want 0.03 Ether. and I want to pay 304.76. And I'm going to place the buy order right there. Okay, so I've got the buy order. You see that little green dot right there? That is my buy order. Now, if it continues to go up, that buy order is still unfilled. But if it goes down and it hits the $304.75, then it'll purchase. And I will have Ethereum show up right here. So that one cost me $9 and something. So I've got $9 and some odd in there. And if this keeps going up like this trend has been, then, you know, it may never fill. Or it may fill in the middle of the night or something like that. And here, let's switch to a 1 minute view. And you can see here, though, that if I had placed my order up in here and then this goes down, it would have filled. So it's right here teetering on the edge. And I was able to put it at $3.75. Oh, see, it went up. It's going up. And so, in fact, here you can see I've got sell orders. All of these were purchased for below I think it's okay. It sounded a little bit like that emergency tone off the television. I'm sure my wife will come in and tell me if we have a tornado alert or something, or my phone will go off. Okay, it's probably something she's watching on TV. Okay, so here is my some of my sell orders. And so the sell orders are in orange. And so you can see here I've got other blocks of them here. Now, I purchased these, you know, a day and 2 days ago, and then I put them up for sale again. So I made these purchases, and then I put them for a higher price. And so now what's going to happen is if it keeps going up, I'm going to end up selling these. What am I going to do with them? I'm going to put them up as buy orders again and hope to buy. Now on this buy order here, okay, so let's say that, you know, it's still going up here. And so let's do another buy order. And it's going to be for 0.03 because that's kind of the number that I'm comfortable with, where I make a couple of cents on each one of these. I know it's not huge making a couple of cents on each one of these, but but when you're proving this stuff, if you're doing just penny trades, basically, then it doesn't, your losses are only penny trades as well. So it's about proving the method here. Okay, so I'm going to place this for 304 and 90 cents. Okay, so I place another buy order. You can see another one of these has appeared right here. Now, what I've done in the past is I've taken, so at $10 each, $9 each, I can get about 11 of these in, 10 or 11 of them in at this rate with my $100. And so, so then you can put 10 buy orders in, and you can have them at, you know, 10 cents apart or whatnot. And by the way, you'll notice that when I put in the limit price, I put in the full price of a full coin. I put in how much I was buying, which was 0.03 of each one, or you can do like 0.01. 0.01 will allow you 100 trades. Or, well, no, not 100. It will allow you around 30. And because you're doing the math, you got $100 to play with. So anyway, if that so 0.01, and that's the smallest. And this is another reason why you do Ethereum as opposed to Bitcoin. So when you're playing with higher dollars, then Bitcoin might be the answer. So I could conceivably, with my $100 in on this, and do these at 0.1 on each one of them. I could take it right at the dollar point it's at right now and just do 304 and 90. And then I could do 304 and 80, and then 304 and 70, and then 304 and 60, going all the way down this way. So if the market starts to drop, they start filling. Now, let's just say that none of them fill. What do I do about that? I want to keep my money moving. It doesn't matter what the cost of each one of these are, as long as you sell for higher. So don't wait for, let me show you this. Don't wait for it to hit that epic low like it hit right here of $224. don't wait for that to then say, okay, so I'm going to make this big play. I'm going to buy when it's really low, when I think it's the lowest, and then I'm going to resell at a rate that I think is going to be epically high, and I'm going to make all my money in one shot. Sure, if you want to play the long-term game and everything, and so right now this would be a 30-day game, and you would make your money in one shot. So if you had bought right here and you spent your $100, you know, you'd get 4/10 of a coin or whatever. Actually, it went down all the way down here to 204. So you'd get half a coin almost, and then you could, you know, have it set for like 320 or something like that. Or let's just say 300 is 200, 300. You'd have made 50% over the month. That's not bad. My method, I plan to make 100% over the month, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm trying to do. Actually, maybe that's not true. I don't know. The math is going to prove it. We are going to have spreadsheets, as I mentioned before. I'm going to have some spreadsheets at the start of this that will allow you to keep track of stuff if you want to. It's complicated. So even I get all excited talking about this, and I just, you know. So, okay, let's look back at the 1 minute charts here. I still have not filled this. It's holding pretty steady. But all it has to do is drop 5.5 cents, and I will have purchased this. And then, what am I going to do with that when I purchase it? So let's say I purchase this at 304.90. Okay, so now I need to put it up to sell it to make some money, and I put it up at 305.90. It's only $1 difference. And you can see here in the sway of things, you know, like since 8:30 this morning, it was $2.99, and now it's 304. Do I think I could get $1 increase a couple times a day? And remember, it goes up and down. So it's not just, you know, it's not just up and up and up. You can see here that it went down and it's gone back up again. But each one of these in between, like, you know, 305 and 304, so 304.54 and 306.62 was kind of the range right there in an hour. I could have done another trade in that hour. So then I would buy again, and I'll buy again at whatever the current rate is. I almost don't care what the current rate is unless I think the market is going to completely crash. And there are other things, there's stops for that. And I haven't used any stops yet. And I don't know if I will, because I'm looking at this as all or nothing. Now, if I put my whole investment, you know, all of my retirement fund into here, then I would be smart to put in some stops. And stops basically say if it hits this low number, it sells all of it. And that way you're liquidating out, and you don't, you're not taking as big a loss as what you might. And also the theory on this is that if we spend $100 and we make $100 in a month, then why not, take that first $100 back out and consider everything to be profit and just be wild with it? You could. You know, or maybe you work it all the way, you work your $100 up over a year to $10,000, $20,000. Wouldn't that be amazing? And then you can take $10,000 out, and you can put it in an investment that's long-term, that'll be for retirement type stuff. And if the market crashes later while you're trading with that other $10,000, who cares? You made 10 grand already. So you kind of get where I'm thinking on that. I mean, there is a lot of risk to this stuff, but if you've already covered your initial investments, then, and if you've already taken out profit, what if you took out 10 times, 100 times in profit? Then, what does it really matter at that point? You can be a little bit more loose and risky with your funds and try and make even more money. And if you're really successful, great. If you're not, fine. What did you lose? So, okay. Now, if you wanted to go on an even lower end here, we can go down to Litecoin. Now, Litecoin is worth about $50 right now. I have one sell order here for $53.99, and it's because I I bought at higher than what we're at right now. And so it's just sitting, waiting. It will eventually sell. But right now it's just sitting, waiting. And so sometimes you're not making any money. If your money's not moving, if there's no transactions happening, you're not making profit. Because profit that's like sitting in here, like the $53.99, once it hits that again or whatnot, if I then have to wait 6 months for that to hit, which I won't, but if I had to wait 6 months for that to hit, then all I've done is tie up that money for 6 months and it's not making any more money. And so this is another reason why you want to keep the numbers really close. And why in here that you see these pockets of stuff here. These are all items that are just waiting to sell. And what happened is that like these right here, they were all together up here, and the number came up to here and then stopped and then went back down again. And that happened overnight. And then I placed those orders, and now they're just waiting to sell again. And my hope would be that I can turn each one of these over maybe 3 times a day at this. I know it's a really low percentage, but you can. And so you can look at this as, okay, you want to make 1% on each trade because that would be awesome. I'm making about 1/3 of 1% on each trade. So if it's at $300, then to make 1%, I'd need to sell. If I bought at 300, I need to sell at 303. And so that would be 1%. But what I've been doing is just a dollar increment. And so $1 up from 300 to 301 is 0.03%, or right about there. And so which it means to make my 1% goal per day, I have to turn this over 3 times. But how does the math work out on that? With the spread going up and down, because you want volatility. Volatility is where you make your money. And with it going up and down, can I hit that 4 times in one day? If I can, I've made more possibly than if it only hits 3% once per day. If it even hits 3% in one day. Right here, you can see up here that the 24-hour price in Ethereum is up 2.19%, meaning it hasn't hit that 3%. And maybe it has. Maybe it goes up and then comes back down again. So actually it has right here. So 292, and it hit a peak up there of 302. And so that was a $10 spread. You'd make bank if you did that. But the longer, the further apart your spread is, the less chance you have of hitting it. So which method is better? I don't know. And that's part of what we're testing here. So, and if you don't have time to sit and watch this stuff, then maybe you do need to make bigger percentages so that, you make more for your effort put in. And the more money you have in play, the more chances you have to make anything. So that's just how this works. Okay, so that's kind of a brief introduction. Feel free to ask questions. Post your questions in chat here in the comments, and I'm going to use those questions for creating more content and covering things that need to be known. Now, one last thing. If my sell orders are up in here, here's one right here. So the closer that gets down to here, the closer it is to selling. My buy orders are here in green. The closer they get up to here, the closer they are to selling. Right now, we've got a 1 cent difference between the buy and sell, and that's usually where it hangs. Both of these are big orders right here. So at this price, there is 605 coin waiting to be purchased. And at this price, there are 400 coin waiting to be sold. And so it can cause a stalemate sitting right in here. It can cause it to move really slow. When it hits a bunch of these really low numbers in between and everything, you'll see it go zzz, up and down. And that'll cause the volatility in the market. So you can watch those things and see how many people are buying and selling. We've got 6,000 people over here that are selling against about 3,000 that are buying. Actually, they're not people, they are coins. And so that's how many coins are on the market in this range right here of going up and down. And so these all are indicators of things. What all of it means, I'm not 100% sure. I think I know what it means, you know, but I don't know. I need a little bit more experience with it to know for sure. So anyway, do place your comments, do subscribe, do follow along, do plan to participate with us, and do fool around in the market before we get started. Just make sure that when we are on starting day, that you have $100 or 100 euros sitting in your account right here with no holdings in here of any other currencies. If you do have other holdings of currencies or whatnot, and you got your $100 in there, then you can transfer them back over to Coinbase, and they can just sit in your account here and wait. So that way you cannot taint with this other money you're playing with in the pre-stuff before we actually do this, so that your numbers are pure. Because if you're mixing and matching both in there, it's going to get so confusing for you, you're going to lose track. And the goal of this, we want it to be accurate, because if it's not accurate, or we don't know that if it's accurate or not, how do we know if we make money by putting in a ton more? So that is the thoughts. Okay, so in the next video is going to be my projections for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and more about which ones I'm going to use for the tests. So make sure you join us tomorrow for that, and hope to see you then. So thank you, everybody, and take care.